Director of Legal Affairs at Grand Hedge International. Business PM is proudly brought to you in partnership with the Center for Sustainable Transformation. So this is the SDG-Hub, and here on the SDG-Hub, we will discuss and enlighten each other on challenges and opportunities in everyday life and business to achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs as we call them for short. On the SDG Hub, we also introduce you to business cases and activities that in one way or the other are taking steps towards a more sustainable future here in Ghana and beyond, so that we are all up to date and can take part in the necessary sustainable transformation that we undertake with our companies, households, and public services. My name is Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe, and I'm here
with Rosemary Balami.
Rosemary is from the Young Reporters for the Environment, a program under the Center for Sustainable Transformation. So in Ghana, women have historically held pivotal roles in various communities, contributing significantly to agriculture, education, healthcare, and household management. Today, their influence has expanded to encompass the realm of sustainability, where they have become pioneers and leaders in their own right. From grassroots movements to boardrooms, Ghanaian women are catalyzing innovative solutions that address complex environmental challenges while uplifting their communities. On today's episode, we're going to delve into the topic that's close to our hearts: her earth, her impact, Ghanaian women shaping sustainability. We're going to take a deep dive into women in sustainability, their contributions, challenges, and progress in Ghana.
Absolutely, Emmanuel. According to data reports, 50.1% of Ghana's population is female, while 49.9% of the population is male. This shows, the growing female population in the country. The invaluable contributions of Ghanaian women to the nation's sustainable development journey cannot be overlooked. Their leadership, innovation, and dedication exemplify the spirit of the Sustainable Development Goals and amplify the message that a sustainable future is attainable through collective action, where women are at the forefront. Their efforts redefine the narrative of women's roles and underscore the fact that sustainability is not just an aspiration, but a living reality woven into the fabric of Ghana's progress. However, in many parts of the world, including Ghana, women often face unique challenges and barriers in accessing education, economic opportunities, and decision-making power. Despite these challenges, many Ghanaian women have been actively engaged in promoting sustainability, both at the community and national levels. Women overcoming barriers to delve into sustainability in Ghana is also a significant topic that highlights the intersection of gender equality and environmental sustainability.
Interesting. As usual, we have a discussion here in our studios, and joining us tonight are two remarkable environmental activists who have been leading local initiatives aimed towards sustainability and can provide insights on the discussion of women in sustainability in Ghana. We've been joined in the studios by Patience Jikum, Head of Climate Change and Policy Program at Strategic Youth Network for Development, and Emmanuel Kofi, co-founder of Waste Advantage Afrique and Director of Legal Affairs at Grand Hedge International. Ladies, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Emmanuel. Thank you very much for having us.
Right. And then, so like we do it always, we want to know a little bit about yourself and the schedules, your daily schedules. So let me start with you first. What do you do?
Okay, so my name, like you rightly mentioned, is Patience Jikum. I'm a young environmental advocate that believes so much. There's a quote that says, you must take care of the environment as if your life depends on it, because it truly depends on it. So I believe that the water we drink, the air we breathe, the food we eat, all comes from the environment. So there's a need for us to, take very good care of the environment. So that's why my line of work is focused on promoting environmental sustainability. But in my regular duties, I am the head of climate change programs at a youth-oriented NGO that promotes the active participation of young people in the governance of Ghana's natural resources and environmental sector.
That's fantastic. I believe you're certainly going to head to the COP28 in Dubai.
Give or take.
Wow.
Right. Okay, let's hear from you, Emmanuel Kofi. What do you do by way of daily schedules at your end?
Okay, so my main profession is the legal profession. I'm a final year student at the Ghana School of Law, but I'm also an SDG ambassador and a climate change activist. And for me, what drives me to do what I do is I believe in intergenerational equity. That decades ago, this was not how our earth was. And so if our forefathers left us something to enjoy, for me to be able to go to the beach and enjoy fresh air, then I must leave same for the generations unborn. So that's what I do. And day in, day out, carrying out projects, going on the international space, projecting the idea of sustainability in everyone. Yeah.
Fantastic. So let's start the discussion. I'm starting with you right there, Emmanuel. Now, tell us about your journey being the co-founder of West Advantage Afrique and the role women in Ghana have played in contributing to advancement of sustainable practices and environmental conservation.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as Rose rightly said, in Ghana here we have about 54.5% of our population being women. This is to show you that we have a very strong human resource force when it comes to women. And it is without doubt that women basically have contributed in so many ways in other aspects of our lives in Ghana, from our economy to governance and all that. But basically, when it comes to sustainability, women have done so much. It's not always all about being educated, being on the TV shows and all that, but it's about what we do in our homes. And you know that socialization basically starts from the home. Right. And we've seen how women have adapted to so many ways to ensure that the practices or whatever they are doing at home is imbibed in their children and the generations that are supposed to come up after them. And so we've seen that because of the impact of climate change, they are trying to, mitigate whatever impact that we are having. They are trying to adapt to so many situations. So if you were going to the market and you couldn't find cassava because of climate change, the women knew how to adapt to it to still be able to, put food on the table for their whole family. So you could see that it's not just about going to the beaches and all that. No, it's about what each woman is doing in their homes in their own little way. And for me, that is the most substantial resource that we have in the journey for sustainability. Right.
Now, Patience, can you share the success stories of women who have made significant impact in the field of sustainability in Ghana?
Yeah, so usually what I say, for example, the way people understand sustainability is usually different. So for a businessman, sustainability is ensuring that he still gets good profits at the end of the year, like he's gotten in the past month. But for us as environmental activists, sustainability simply means that ensuring that we make judicious use of our natural resources. So it's not just the gold, the bauxite, the aluminum that we have as a country, but even the land we have, the good land we have, and the water we have. They're all natural resources. So sustainability basically is, how do we ensure we use it well, like Alarin said, so that we don't deplete it, so that future generations can also have access to it, to be able to live a better life, that even more than we are living now. So there are so many women who are doing great things in the sustainability space. I mean, Rose is here, Elaine is here, but there's actually one woman who inspires me a lot. She's the head of climate change unit at Forestry Commission. Her name is Mrs. Rosemary J. And then one classical project they are doing is the reducing emission that comes from deforestation. And through that program, by working with farmers to adopt sustainable farming practices, so that there's not much emission that's happens as a result of deforestation. Through that project, they have actually been able to secure some financial support to ensure that the farmers get some income to buy cutlasses and other things, equipment that they need. And it's actually the very first project that led by governments that has actually given monetary benefits back to the people of the community. These are just some of the things she does. She holds so many portfolios, but when we are talking about impacts, I believe this is a very practical example of so yes,
we certainly need to get her here.
Definitely, you have to get her here. If you bring her, you won't close. She's good to have. She's definitely a very inspirational woman.
So moving forward as women, I know that we do face challenges. Now let's look at some of the challenges. Although Ghana has made progress when it comes to gender equality, I always say the equation is still not balanced. So can you tell us what are some of the challenges you faced, or challenges women in general face in the pursuit of sustainability initiatives?
I think for women, for me, the issue is about representation. That we don't have enough women taking up leadership positions like the way we have for men. So it's about ensuring, sometimes I don't like focusing so much on the challenge, but what can we do? Ensuring that we imbibe in young women from very young ages. That is, the work of my organization to ensure that these women take up leadership roles and positions. So representation is key. But however, when it comes to the work that we do generally, the challenge that women face are not very different from the challenge that men face, because it's about, we are broadcasting a message of sustainability. Most of the challenges are how people in society receive or are receptive to the message that we are coming across, and also policymakers. So, for example, if you are doing a campaign against Itiwa or mining in forest reserve or something like that, the policymakers are usually not very open to receiving that. So when it comes to the challenges that women face, I don't really like disassociating the work that we do, because in this sustainability space, we all need to work together, whether a man or a woman. But I'll say that the issue of representation is key.
So how do we overcome some of these challenges?
Like I was saying, we have to be really deliberate and conscious. And I'm really happy there's a new wave of young women taking up leadership positions in the SRCs and schools. I must say it's something I'm very excited about. So just really inspiring the women that it's possible, and then you can do it in the field of sustainability, right? Like Larine was saying, women are the majority in the world. So how are we talking about sustainability, a sustainable future, when the people who make up the most of the population, we are not involving them, not just in the everyday activities, but in decision making. So right from the young age, we have to imbibe into young girls that yes, it's really possible for you to
take up space,
be the COP president, for you to be the UN Secretary General.
So could you highlight specific initiatives or projects that have empowered women economically while promoting environmental sustainability?
So my organization, we run a project called the Young Green Entrepreneurs Project, which is basically creating a platform for young green business holders, to be able to, put up their structures very well so that they get the necessary financial support to be able to upskill. And we have amazing young women in there. Some of them are turning crop waste into briquettes. So there's Jennifer, whose venture is called BD Green. So BD Green, we know what the normal charcoal and cooking with firewood is doing to our mothers, right? There's air pollution, there's a lot of cancer and lots of diseases resulting from that. So she has seen that as a challenge, and then she has turned that to a business where they are using like coconut hacks to be able to come up with charcoal, which at the end of the day is not very harmful to the health of the women.
Because it doesn't, I believe the charcoal, it doesn't emit any smoke, right?
No. And then it's actually, you can use it for a very long time compared to the traditional charcoal. So there's a problem she has identified, but she's also making money and also employing other people.
Absolutely.
So while solving the environmental challenge, she's also reducing the rate of unemployment that we have as a country. And there are a list of others, people who have found that waste is actually very valuable, and that they can turn waste into valuable resources, recycling and using ways to make a lot of beautiful artifacts that once they're reducing the plastic and the pollution we have in our environment, and they're also making money out of it.
So looking at the Ghanaian context, for instance, it looks as if we still do not have women in the women are not really many when it comes to this whole environmental sustainability movement. What do you think is the reason for this, and how can we encourage more women to engage actively in sustainable development efforts? Now let me come to you, Emmanuel.
Okay, so for me, it starts basically with the understanding of what the whole sustainability agenda is. Now, most people think climate change is just one aspect of sustainability. There are so many in whatever field that you are in. Sustainability plays a key role, and you have to understand what exactly it means. Sustainability is you employing young people. It is you making sure that if they are working for a particular number of hours, they are getting paid for it. Sustainability is you taking a water bottle to work and not just using sachet water and dropping them. Sustainability is basically so many things. So for me, the key thing is the training and education as well as awareness. That is one of the major things to promote sustainability, because if we don't understand what the whole agenda is, then what exactly are we promoting? So I use myself as a case study. When I started this whole volunteering thing, I didn't know my left and right, but I had someone to show me that, okay, I realized that volunteering is what helps you to understand the whole agenda. One time I'm being an usher in a program, as I'm standing there directing people in whatever that goes on in the room gets into my head. So a particular topic is being spoken about. I get to hear about it. When I come home, I don't sleep on it.
Do some more research.
I do some more research. I learn, and I'm someone who loves learning the technical aspect, so that when you call me to come speak on this topic, or I'm trying to convince you, I can just hit on all the corners. So a perfect example is at COP27, which was held in Egypt last year. I was there as a volunteer for UNFCCC. Wow. And in one of the halls, one organization came talking about green hydrogen. It's like, wow, this is very interesting. Now I come back to Ghana, and I see GIZ is having a training on green hydrogen. So I asked the coordinator, is this thing going to be technical, like science, math? Because back then what I heard in the room was more of
pure scientific.
And I was so scared knowledge. For about 2 weeks. I was just bombarding this guy. Lois,
but you made mention of this whole science thing. Do you also think that maybe the women feel it's too complex? That is why maybe some would want to just stay back?
So this is my story I'm sharing with you. I'm a law student, so basically reading, what has science got to do with me? So I was so scared, but one thing about me is I'll do it scared. So I said, no, I'm applying for this thing. I got selected. Then he's like, don't worry, it's different models. So when you come in, when I entered the room, I realized I wasn't the only one that was not in the space. Some were in finance, some were in the technical space. So when it gets to this model, those who are well versed in the model will help the others to understand the model. When it got to policy making and regulation, that was my strong field. I helped the others, but funny enough, I was the one doing representations for the technical aspect. So if we, have a concerted effort that, see, this is the agenda, one goal. Which field are you in? How can you help in the sustainability agenda? So once that you are aware of the agenda, you make concerted efforts to learn. And these days, there are so many information on social media. You can have training courses. There are so many, even through volunteering, you can learn. So I think training, education, and awareness is what will help women to be able to empower themselves. And either you take this training online, or organizations make those opportunities available, so that, okay, this is a training on climate change. This is a training on SDG-1. Let's do this. Let's get people aware. Let's go on the street. In Chi, in local language, let's get them to understand. In that way, we can have more people being interested, so that they know that I don't have to be a lawyer to push the agenda. I don't have to be a science personnel to push the energy just transition agenda. So far as I understand it and I'm interested, I can also be a part of this goal.
So now let's look at another aspect as well. That is, access to, opportunities, including funding and others. Is a ground leveled for women, especially social entrepreneurs or those into green business, to also access these opportunities? Patience. Emmanuel, you would want to.
Okay, I just had a very interesting topic a few days ago, and it's the basis of a research work I'm planning on doing with the National Coordinator for Youth Advocates Ghana. They do the advocacy for the whole Atiwa Forest, Achimota Forest. So the problem is that most women don't have access to properties, right? And most of the funding is available for green jobs. You have to go in with a particular, property as collateral, because no company will give you those kind of monies for free. They always want something. They'll always treat it as a business. Right. And this is a situation whereby we are in a country where most women don't have access to their own properties.
Like houses,
because you have to go in with some form of, collateral.
The lands
and all that, and this is where there's an economic divide. Women don't have those things. So how do women entrepreneurs in green businesses now have access to these funds? That's where there's a divide. And so those are some of the challenges that we may not see yet, but it's playing a very big role.
But I thought gradually that narrative is being changed. Now women are also at the forefront of,
I think what we are saying, we should speak with the numbers. I think patients will help.
I will agree with what Emmanuel said, and also what Elarini is saying, because there's progress, right?
Yeah.
But we are still not there yet.
Okay.
And then when it comes to this application for grants, and even now there's a plus because there are a lot of people who that the fact that you're a female is a plus for you, because people want to promote women in sustainability, but not saying that these challenges still exist, right? So it's about, making sure we get to the point where women and men have equal access to some of these opportunities, because a founder wouldn't say, oh, your project idea is very good, but you're a woman, so I wouldn't give it to you.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So it's just about ensuring we...
So how can we foster more opportunities for young girls in Ghana to become interested in and pursue careers in sustainability, Emmanuel?
Okay, so I think one of the opportunities is everyone is going to school these days, at least from basic level all the way to senior high school. It's something that we all know people have access to education. And so what I think is that we have to infuse the idea of sustainability or training on sustainability in the education schedule, so that no matter the stage that we are in, no matter, if the child is in senior high school, is in junior high school, or is even at primary level, they have some idea. So, for instance, the way we can sing the national anthem and all that counts from 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
A class 1 or class 2 or class 4 child can be taught what are the 17 sustainable development goals. I have had to go train a particular school on the SDGs, and these children are so smart. You undermine them, but once they are taught, trust me, they'll be able to grab it. So one of the opportunities is that they're already going to school, fix it in their schedule, sustainable development goals. Let them learn about it. Now, also, I know some universities have courses on sustainable development goals, but there should be that awareness on those courses, so that it's not always about going to study law. Well, if that's your passion, that is fine. But if it's someone's goal that, I want to be a full-time sustainable development goals ambassador, I need a certification on that, I need proper training on that, then it should be a course in the university for me to be able to pursue, just like law, just like political science, just like any other course. That is also one. And the other one is also on government agencies putting in a particular effort to ensure that there are programs available nationwide, not just having programs in Accra. Yeah. It should be at the northern region, in Kumasi, everywhere. So that if you're having a training program, those in northern region have access to it. They don't have to come all the way down. That's what is causing migration, where people always want to come to Accra, because all these opportunities are always safe. Honestly, I'll not lie about it. I was in Aboagye, right? But I schooled senior high school in Accra and university in Accra. And the opportunities that I've had here, having access to trainings. I just even came from one training here. But if I were in Aboagye, that training would not be happening there. Yeah. And I'm not shy to say,
those are some of the access opportunities that we keep
exactly.
talking
So
about.
Every stakeholder, government, whichever organization are having program, just make sure that at least those in the other areas have access to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's basically
great inputs there. So, Patience, let me come to you. Indigenous knowledge and practice is still deeply rooted in the fabric of Ghanaian society. How important are these practices, and how can we harness them in promoting sustainable lifestyles, particularly among women?
I think one of the most interesting statements I've heard when it comes to the whole conversation around indigenous knowledge was that so we go to the communities, we get to understand the people's way of lives, how they do their things. We just add a little bit of technological advancement to it, and then we give it a very big name. Like we give it a very big scientific name, and it looks like it's so far-fetched from what the people know. But it's just the same thing, their way of life. So women and girls had a way of living that actually led the people of the old lived for a very long time. I was having a discussion with my colleagues in the office before I came, and someone was saying even at first, and before people started valuing plastics and fancy, women used to go to the market with baskets, like very nice basket that you can actually cover it. And then they were able to go and do their shopping like any other thing, and still got the produce that they needed to be able to come. So we should make sure we go back to some of these practices, and not yes, we can add a little bit of tech to the old knowledge of the old.
Is not bad after all, I guess.
No, we just modernize it a little bit, and then the Gen Zs will be jumping into it.
Great. Let me come to you, Manuela. So what policies or changes at the government level do you think would further support women's involvement in environmental conservation and sustainability in Ghana?
Okay, so first and foremost, I always say whenever there is a mention of government, you shouldn't look at particular government and all state. I think it has to be a 360-degree affair, right? So if Minister for Finance is making sure that there is enough finance to train women in sustainability, to support women in having green businesses and all that, then it should also be the duty of Ministry of Gender to ensure that whilst the women are working, they are they're in a safe working space. So if the particular woman is in a company in the mining sector or something, they are not being sexually harassed because of their gender. They are given equal opportunity just like any other man. And so I think that basically government has a lot of things to do, but also let's not push all the weight on government. What we individuals can do, also what organizations can do, but government should not shake their role in also contributing to the sustainability.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Chat. Time
very insightful. Exactly. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining, and sharing your expertise on this conversation. That's all the time we have for today's discussion on Her Impact, Ghanaian Women Shaping Sustainability. Make sure to tune in same time next week as we continue discussions on all things sustainable development right here on Asaase Radio 99.5 so that people and planet can prosper. If you have a topic you would like us to discuss, shoot an email to sdghub@cestint.org. Remember, dear listeners, the future is in our hands and it's our responsibility to ensure a healthier planet for generations to come. Keep raising your voices, keep advocating for change, and keep tuning in to the SDG Hub for more insightful conversations. Until next time, stay informed and stay inspired.
And thank you so much for staying with us on the SDG Hub. We've been speaking with Patience Agyir, Head of Climate Change and Policy Program at Strategic Youth Network for Development, and Emmanuel Doreen Kofi, co-founder of Waste Advantage Afrique and Director of Legal Affairs at Grand Hedge International. I've been your host, Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe, together with
Rosemary Balami.
We go back to Caleb for the wrap-up of the Big Bullets now.
Thank you, Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe, for the SDG Hub on the Business PM. And that's how we wrap up the Big Bulletin with me, Caleb Ahenakwa. A recap of our headline stories. Union Secretary of Ghana Railway Workers assures over 1,000 aggrieved workers demanding payment of more than 3 months' salary. RES. Also in the news, bondholders confirm receipt of coupon payment under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program today. And Elections Committee of the New Patriotic Party reaffirms commitment to ensure free and fair election in the upcoming Super Delegate Conference. For more of our news stories, log on to AsaaseRadio.com. My name is Caleb Ahenakwa. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
You're on Asaase Radio.